Just 5 months, Nevada voters will make a major decision about how energy is regulated in the state. We do thank you for staying with us on 8 News Now at 6:30. I'm Brian Loftus.
And I'm Christiane Klein. Now, in question 3, voters are being asked to amend the Nevada Constitution to give residents and businesses the right to choose who they buy power from. It would end the regulated monopoly of NV Energy, which supplies power to most of the state.
But as Politics Now co-host Steve Sebelius reports, there are more questions than answers when it comes to what is really, Steve, a very complicated subject.
Oh, yeah, very much. You guys have seen the ads on our air. It's break up with NV Energy, or your rates could go up. So vote no. Now, that's the campaign so far over energy choice, which will be on the ballot as question 3 in November. Now, the Gwynn Center on Policy Priorities this week released a 100-page report on the Energy Choice Initiative, but all that research found that even the most basic questions about the measure couldn't be answered definitively. Meredith Levine was the lead author of that report and says she was surprised at the uncertainty.
I was surprised. Many times when we do the research, you go into it and you think, the data is the data is the data, and you go from that and you expect to be able to at least say, hey, well, this is what the data shows and we're comfortable with that. And wherever it falls, you go into this and it's kind of interesting to see that the data doesn't provide the answers and that, the experiences have been so different across different states.
Well, states that have adopted energy choice plans have usually adopted rate caps, which makes comparisons to other states difficult. Also, federal government rate numbers include so many different factors, it's hard to pick out which ones might be affected by energy choice plans. In addition, Levine said rates could be affected when NV Energy sells off its power plants and long-term energy contracts because it would be anti-competitive for the company to generate, transmit, and sell power all at the same time. Consumers could be asked to pay some or all of those charges. Levine also pointed out Nevada would be the only state to switch from a regulated monopoly utility to a competitive market using a constitutional amendment. Most other states have done so by passing laws, and the report says of the 22 states that have adopted energy choice plans, 7 have repealed those plans entirely or partially. Now, Governor Brian Sandoval's Committee on Energy Choice also researched the issue, and it found some of the same uncertainties uncovered by the Gwynn Center. Lieutenant Governor Mark Hutchison was chairman of that committee and says much of what will happen will only be determined by the legislature after the initiative is passed and made a part of the Constitution.
This is going to be in the legislature. At the end of the day, Steve, you're right. You've got these competing reports, and people say that we can answer questions, and some of those reports people say we can't, and other reports. At the end of the day, you know who this is going to be on? The legislature. The policymakers, the elected representatives of the people are going to have to spend a substantial time in the next 3 legislative sessions coming up with solutions.
And that's a big part of the uncertainty, the need for lawmakers to fill in the many blanks on energy choice between now and 2023, when the initiative will go into effect if it's approved. But Hutchison said his committee recommended lawmakers write rules for consumer protections, including possible rate caps, laws against fraud, and model terms of service that all companies in a new competitive market would be required to adopt. He said the work is so complex it may require special sessions of the legislature to complete before the deadline. Now, the only people who seem to be sure what will happen are the campaigns. The Yes on 3 campaign says it will definitely lower rates, while the No on 3 campaign says the opposite. The Gwynn Center in its research found examples of both and says either is possible. And we asked the campaigns for comment, and you can find that on our website. That's at LasVegasNow.com.